man stands trembling helplessly in a bedroom, staring at a woman who has just died. His friend steps in, reaches right over into the bed, and pulls her lifeless body out. He carries her across the room, pins her upright against the wall, looks directly into her face, and commands her to walk. From the crown of her head to the soles of her feet, her whole body begins to tremble, and she walks. The man giving that command was Smith Wigglesworth. Before he was known for commanding the dead to rise, Wigglesworth was functionally illiterate. He spent his childhood pulling turnips in a field until his hands bled, and made his living as a working-class Yorkshire plumber. We tend to look back at historical religious figures and assume they were born as flawless, bionic superhumans, completely immune to normal struggles. Wigglesworth's life suggests that ruthless faith is a specific architecture, engineered through a series of flawed, deeply human trials. At 8 years old, Wigglesworth internalized a requirement that would define his future. It boiled down to 2 plain words: only believe. Because he couldn't read well, he lacked the tools for complex theological debate, settling instead for a stark line of binary belief. This stripped-down mental model became the unyielding operating system for his entire life's work. Faith, for Wigglesworth, required physical motion. As a young man, he joined the Salvation Army, bringing that raw belief directly to the streets. He used the income from his plumbing business to feed, clothe, and minister to impoverished, hungry children down at the Liverpool docks. This combination of theological simplicity and relentless physical compassion created the baseline momentum necessary for his ministry to function. This trajectory faced its most difficult test within his marriage to Polly Featherstone. In their early years together, Polly was the charismatic, commissioned preacher holding massive meetings, while Smith handled the altar calls and took care of the children in the pews. Then came a harsh winter. Smith's plumbing business boomed with repair work. Under the weight of constant labor, his spiritual zeal crashed into a cold, irritated state. His annoyance peaked one night when Polly came home late from a church service. In a fit of anger, he forced her out the back door and locked her out in the cold. Polly's secure identity saved the partnership. Instead of responding with an argument, she simply walked around to the unlocked front door, came inside, and laughed it off. Wigglesworth's reputation for faith was built on a foundation of spousal stability. His calling was preserved and tested by Polly's refusal to be moved by his own decline. Even with this foundation, Wigglesworth spent years on the periphery of the divine healing movement in Leeds. He possessed enough conviction to pay the travel expenses for sick people in Bradford to visit the healing home, yet he lacked the personal courage to lead the ministry himself. The leaders in Leeds eventually forced his hand. Knowing he would be in attendance, they intentionally vacated the pulpit to attend a convention, leaving Wigglesworth with no choice but to take the stage. This moment of stark discomfort served as the final activator for his dormant power, proving that raw faith requires the catalyst of leadership. The results of that forced entry into leadership were immediate. At his first independent meeting back in Bradford, 12 people came forward for healing, and all 12 were restored. This transition from a working-class Yorkshire plumber to the globally recognized apostle of faith was complete. The scale of his ministry suggests that significant spiritual impact is untethered from natural eloquence or a prestigious education. Wigglesworth's legacy was forged at the intersection of 3 specific things: the binary simplicity of his belief, the unwavering stability of his partner, and his eventual willingness to step into the light when he was pushed.